He didn't raise his hand. Oh, you did, okay.
How close was Geordie and how concerning is it?
Look, it's he's relatively close. He played. We didn't really know after the Twickenham test, but he pulled up a bit sore. It's more of a jarring type injury than anything else in that knee. So it's a precautionary thing in some ways, but we'd like to think that he'll be back and available next week.
Talk about the decision to go with Dalton at blindside?
We were going to play both those two in that position at Twickenham. That changed with the red card and things unfolded. But look, Daltz has played plenty of rugby this year. We've got a lot of faith in both of them. We just feel for this game that way round will be good for us. I think it gives us the ability to have two guys whose instincts are at the ball, but also Daltz brings a pretty strong ball carrying and is quick around the park. So he's been a big part of our group over the last 18 months, and he's deserved it.
Thank you.
Am I speaking too fast?
Sam, we've heard for the last wee while actually that it's felt like quite a long build-in to this in Germany, and then Leon, now that you're here in Paris, you're seeing this. Do you feel like you've got a bit of a sense of the occasion that awaits on Friday?
I think when we spoke earlier in the week, it was the opening ceremony or the welcome to Leon for us getting the capping that had the team sort of buzzing and realising it's just around the corner. And then, now that we got into the process of a normal training week, we've had put a lot of good work in. And now we've made the trip up here on train. It sort of just feels like a lot of the hard work's been done now, and the excitement's certainly starting to build.
Ian.
There's been reports in the media today about one of the top teams inquiring with World Rugby about the sanctions in place for if a team is found to be spying on another one at a training. Do you have any idea what team it was that made that inquiry?
No, I haven't heard of that, but and it wasn't us. But was anyone spying on us? That's cool.
What do you make of the conversation about espionage taking place at the World Cup?
Welcome to the World Cup. It's that simple. There's a lot of pressure on. People react different ways. It's an exciting time, and everyone's looking for an edge, and so I'm not sure where that one's come from. We're pretty confident that we've been training alone, but who knows?
Ian, how much of a blow for Imoni to be ruled out of this tournament, and when did you make the decision?
Oh, look, incredibly sad. He in the Twickenham week he ran his fastest time of the year. He's coming back. And so his preparation has actually been really good, trending right up. It's obviously been a niggling back from the Argentinian test. And he was coming right, we felt. He trained really well. What's today? Wednesday or Monday. And it was actually the last thing he did in a skill block that he jarred it, and it turns out that it's the other side of the disc, and it's incredibly sad for him. He's worked hard to get here, and we were excited about where he was at. But, the best thing for him now is to go and rehab at home. So it's not the nicest thing to do as a coach right at the start, to tell someone they're going home, but he's a popular part of this group, and I know he'll do the right thing, and we'll sort out the plan for a replacement probably after Friday's game.
Is it likely you'll go like for like in terms of another outside back?
Oh, we'll weigh that up basically after Friday, and just to see where we're at. But we clearly have to make a change, and it could be there, it could be in the loosies. We're just looking at the progress of Brodie Retallick, Shannon Frizzell, the likes of those guys, and we'll assess that after this weekend.
Just in terms of the backdrop to Twickenham coming here, having a couple more injury setbacks, how do you feel the team's placed just generally going into this opening game?
Look, really good. I think when you have a couple of injuries, people start writing the list down, but we always knew Brodie and Shannon weren't going to be right for this game, so we've been able to prepare accordingly. They're both trending really well. I thought Guzzler was going to have a smack with me when I told him that he wasn't quite right, because he believes he is, so he's pretty close. So I guess it's just the Geordie and the Amoni one that have, you know, surprised us a little bit this week, but that's the game, and I think you're going to get that in all the teams. But we're in a good place. You know, we've had a good prep, we've had a great rugby championship. You know, we had a great, if you look at the performances against South Africa, Australia, and suddenly we're World Cup favourites, and then we don't do very well in Twickenham in a warm-up game, and suddenly we're the worst All Black team ever. So, you know, we smile at that, and we're quite excited about where we're at.
Can I just interrupt for one moment? I apologise for this, but Greg has just told me that the translation app is now working. So for the French journalists, if you want to scan that QR code, you'll get an automatic translation on your phone. If you want to put your hand up, if you'd like to scan the code, Greg will come around and help you with that. Okay, Liam.
Do you want to give them a chance to do that, or might be fair? Then I can see which ones don't speak English.
In terms of the atmosphere that you're going to confront at Stade de France, how important is it to start well, to try and quell the crowd and not let France get a bit of a roll on?
Oh, it's always on the wish list when you play away from home, but definitely for this one, you know, like we were here in 2021, and the environment I thought was a beautiful environment for rugby. You know, like I think the whole crowd was in a fantastic mood, and we know how well France started that day and put us behind the 8 ball. So, you know, we know what's coming, but it's going to be amplified, I think, with, you know, there's an opening ceremony, it's a special occasion, and, you know, that's what World Cups are about. So, you know, we wouldn't want to be anywhere else, quite frankly. It's a privilege to play this game, this first game. So, you know, we know there's going to be an onslaught early, but we've just got to make sure that we're the ones involved in doing that as well.
Yeah, just one question about the French team. Jonathan Danty will not play for the French team on Friday. Is there a big difference for your team to play against Yoram Moefana at 12?
So that was Dante, was it?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess so. But, you know, Moefana's a very competent player, has played a lot of rugby, and I think you'll find that, you know, France has been like us the last couple of years. They've built depth and built options, and you know, you get used to playing with a certain combination. But, you know, they've certainly had a number of tests without Dante, and they've gone good without him. So, and you know, would have been a nice matchup, Geordie versus Dante. It's not to be, but who knows? Maybe it might happen a little bit later.
Ian, I mean, you brought up that comment that was made about, you know, the worst team in history. Do you use that to motivate this side?
No, I just got told about it on my way in, so I just thought I'd use it. It sounded good press.
Sam, could you put it on the changing room wall, use it for a bit of motivation?
No, look, this team's got plenty of internal motivation, so we're not too worried about comments like that.
Tell this means that you change the pressure on the French shoulder with a lot of injuries they had. Do you think it's the hardest game they have to play against you for the last 4 years?
To me? Oh, I hope so. It's I don't know if it's the hardest game or not. I couldn't really tell you, because I know this French team has been playing some great rugby over the last two years, and everyone's been able to see them build. We've also seen them put under pressure, and you know, they have to deal with expectations, and they have to deal with the same crowd and that's got massive expectations that we have to. So you know, part of World Cups is about the mental side. It's about having the confidence and the courage to play the game that you need to play at the right time. And really, until it all starts, that's when we'll see where people are at. And like I said, this first game has been built up as a massive game. It's, you know, if you look at the key objective in World Cups is to get out of your pool and get into a quarter final. That's the number one objective that we have. And so we'd love to do it with a great performance against France, make things a bit easier, and I'm sure they're the same.
Harold, we're from the Japanese television NHK. So recently we feel that your team scrum looks like forwarding from the left prop. Do you do it intentionally or not?
Yeah, I missed that a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. So recently we feel that your team scrum looks like forwarding from the left prop. So do you do it intentionally or not?
Does our scrum move on the
left
prop?
Yeah.
No, not deliberately. But if he pushes harder than the right prop, then it normally goes round. But look, we're happy with our scrum. We've been scrumming really strong this year. I thought that, you know, and again 2 weeks ago in South Africa we didn't scrum well. We obviously lost Tyrell Lomax at a time. We then had a red card and that put our scrum under a lot of pressure. But I think the scrum will be a big factor in the game on Friday. You know, both teams will be looking to establish some degree of dominance there. And again, it's an area that we know we have to be good at. And but you know, I don't think it's certainly not a one-person scrum. Scrumming's all about the combination of 8, and that's what we've been working hard on.
Ian, just back to the midfield. What have you seen from Anton, I suppose, this week? You know, Geordie's been your guy at 12 this year, and minimal tests for Anton. Obviously, the suspension played a part in that. But what have you seen from Anton this week?
Look, Anton's very experienced. He's had a couple of years that have been disrupted. But, you know, behind the scenes, he worked really hard at his game. And, you know, with his, you know, he covers 12 and 13 for us. And we just felt that, you know, we've got Davey who's come back from a long injury. He's only had... you know, he's only had one hit out for back at Tasman before he came over here, so that's the issue that we have. And so I felt he was a little bit underdone, but again, he's training really, really well. So it's really, I guess we've gone with Anton's experience. It's a big stage. I think he's craving an opportunity to show that he's got his confidence back after sort of, like I said, quite a disruptive couple of years, and we got a lot of faith in him.
Ian, I just wonder as well, you've got quite a few World Cup debutants named in your team. I remember Graham Henry, the last World Cup, quite famously said that those guys who were going to make their World Cup debuts would be shitting themselves ahead of the game, excuse my language. How do you go about making sure that those guys about to enter this stage are in the right headspace for this?
Yeah, good question. I think there may be some World Cup debutants, but a lot of them have actually been involved for the last couple of years, so it's not like we have a lot of brand new players. But it's part of the beautiful thing of World Cups. You know, you tell stories, you prepare. You know, it's well documented. We had a number of our sort of older players, legacy players, involved for a few weeks before we came. And our leaders, you know, led by Sam, they've done a really good job in just getting people ready. But to be fair, it's hard to tell the whole story until you run it on that field and you feel the crowd and you sense the moment. So, look, I think the fact we've got a few that haven't played in a World Cup is a strength. I think they're excited. and our goal is to make sure we don't burden them with too much pressure on what's going to happen. We just got to make sure they just go and do what they do, and that's the goal.
Hey Fozzie, George here from the Front Row Daily Show.
George who, sorry? George Bout.
George Bout. You've named my scrumptious front row. How important our front row is heading into this week?
Really important. You know, they're the most annoying people in the team, the front rowers. They eat the most food. They take the longest to warm up and come out of the shed before they train, but they're special people. And all joking aside, I think I've mentioned it before, their contribution, we expect a lot out of our props in the modern game. And I think we demand scrummaging, we demand quality lifting, mauling, and then we demand high involvements around the park in terms of tackle and technique and ball carrying and cleaning. So the big boys have a big game ahead of them. But we're really confident in the group we've got, and we know they're working hard and they can't wait to strut their stuff.
Sam, I don't know if you're a emotive, passionate pre-match talker, but what will you say to the team prior to running out tomorrow night?
I can't tell you, because what if they read the paper and then they know? It won't be a surprise.
Give us a theme.
Look, there'll be a bit of a recap about, there'll be a couple of key messages normally from the defensive side of the ball, a couple of key messages often from one of our key drivers, like a 10 or a 15 around attack, and we'll just break it down how we want to start the game. Look, the occasion's going to be enormous, and I don't think the group will need any firing up for it, that's for sure.
Hi Sam, Sarah Orchard, BBC. France and New Zealand have provided some of the most exciting moments in World Cup history, and you have one of the best rivalries. What are your memories growing up with those rivalries? Any particular matches you remember that inspired you as a player? And how do you feel about maybe making a bit more history on Friday night?
Yeah, great question. Straight away thought of the disappointment as a teenager watching the 07 quarterfinal. And then the heights, and I suppose the nervousness of, I was lucky enough to be able to watch the 2011 final in person. So it was a pretty special occasion, and then sort of quickly moves into my own personal experiences, and then probably one of my favourite test matches to have been a part of was the 2015 quarterfinal. So a couple of highs and lows there. My memory doesn't go back too much further than that, but yeah, really excited. I think Foz said it's a privilege to be able to play this first game to kick off the 2023 Rugby World Cup against the home nation, who'd probably be considered favourites. It's going to be a seriously special occasion, and we can't think of a better way to start our Rugby World Cup, and hopefully there's some moments of magic out there. I'm sure there will be.